G'day, it's Joel Rasmussen for Southern Cross Combat, and fresh off his victory, I am talking to Astro Boy, Mr. Stephen Erceg. Stephen, thank you for the time. It's always good to talk to you. How are you today?
Yes, I'm very good. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back as usual.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I like this progression that we can see. You're now rocking the official UFC gear, officially ranked.
Yes.
How is it all feeling? How is it all going?
Honestly, I feel like I'm the same person I was beforehand. Just now like for 1 week every 3, 4 months or whatever, I get to meet all these famous people that I'm big fans of, and it feels very surreal still.
I was going to bring that up a little bit later, but since you bring that up, I saw you met Tom Hardy. How was that?
Yeah, good. It was actually it was very weird because basically I was walking out of the cage and I didn't know he was there. I saw him there. Like, oh my god, that's Tom Hardy. So I just nodded at him, and he was like talking to somebody or doing something, so he didn't like really acknowledge me. Which I mean, didn't bother me. Like he can do whatever he likes. He's Tom Hardy, right? And then I get out the back. I get out the back, and one of the guys goes, "Oh, by the way, Tom Hardy wants to meet you." I'm like, oh yeah, of course, like whatever. And he comes out the back and goes, "Look, I just wanted to let you know I wasn't being rude. That I didn't acknowledge you. I was busy, but yeah, nice to meet you." But I was like, "Man, you're such a nice guy. Like it's awesome meeting people who are like obviously very well known like that, but they're still really good human beings." So that was enjoyable.
Guy, you met Bane. That's incredible.
I did.
What's your favorite Tom Hardy role? Not to put you on the
It's
spot.
between. Ooh, there's three that stand out: Warrior, Bane, and Venom are the three I'd say.
That's a solid three. As a fight, not to talk movies, but as a fighter, when you see like Warrior, are you like is that a good depiction?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good movie. I think they do a good job of like trying to break down fighting lifestyles and stuff like that. I did have somebody try to convince me that it was based on a true story, and I said it wasn't. They said no, I would know. Trust me. I went, okay, bro, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, I get some funny interactions sometimes.
trust them, bro. They were there. They were
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that no. Okay, cool.
uh, this was a you put on this fantastic performance. You get this big KO, and talking about that like you're over there, you're getting recognized by people. I feel like a lot more media is talking about you now. Is this kind of been like a big coming out party for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've notoriously been underrated. Um, and that wasn't just on the UFC circuit, that was on Eternal as well. But like, I didn't really get my dues until I won the title. Um, and I feel like I'm sort of in the same trajectory in the UFC. Like I don't look special in any way. I look like a normal guy. Apparently, I look like I fix computers or something like that. And yeah, people are starting to see that, oh, I do have some skills, and the better people I fight and the better people I beat, people are going to recognize that more and more.
So throughout all the interviews you and I have done together, like your goal has been clear, and you've been calling your shot for forever.
Yes.
To now be doing it, to now it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. To be top 10 in the UFC, calling for someone who's in the top five.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah, it's I just I think if you don't call your shot, like call what you want, it's a wasted opportunity. Like people aren't just going to give you stuff for nothing. So by making it clear what I want, it gives the UFC a good idea of um what I not what I expect, but like where I intend to be. So it makes their job a little bit easier. And I don't know, just you need to be like driven in a certain direction. And if you're not showing that to people, they won't care about what you're about. So I'm just trying to make it known.
So after your last win before this one over Costa, in the post fight press conference, you seemed kind of a little bit like down on yourself. Like you were talking about how you got the win, but it wasn't exactly how you wanted it to go.
Yep.
To now come back and get that highlight reel knockout. How does that feel? How do those two feelings compare to each other?
I was genuinely shocked about how disappointed in myself I was after winning a fight. Like have lost a fight. Like I've lost fights in the past, and you sit there and it's just a terrible. Like you sit there, and nothing. You can't focus on anything. Like you'll be watching TV, you'll be on the plane on the way home, and you just can't focus on anything around you. You're just thinking, man, how did I lose that fight? Why did I do this? Why are you just reflecting the whole time? And I won a fight, and I had the exact same feeling. I'm sitting there going, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. Obviously, I was very grateful I won, and all that sort of stuff. But it's, again, like you said earlier, I'm calling my shots. I'm very clear that I want to be winning titles and fighting for these things. And then to have a performance like that, um, I felt like it was almost like a step back. Whereas, yeah, to have a performance like this shows everybody my level and really puts me into a spot where I can get those big fights now.
When you have those like moments of reflection, like as you say, you come away with the win, but you're still kind of critiquing yourself. Between that fight and this last performance, what things did you change? Anything? Like what did you change?
I mostly I mostly focused on being tighter defensively. So I've always had, even though people say my head movement's poor, I've had good movement. So I don't get hit a lot in training, and I don't really get hit a lot in fights. But when I do get hit, it's usually pretty clean because my hands are down. I'm scooting out with my weight's not where it should be. So I really worked on making sure that when I'm exiting and when I'm fighting, my hands are a lot more disciplined so that, yes, my initial movement and stuff, I do get out of the way of those shots that I was getting out of before. But when I do get caught by surprise, which is going to happen more often at the higher level, I have my hand in a disciplined place to either completely deflected or partially deflected, that sort of things. So I've worked on that a lot. Um, and I think it definitely helped in this fight, and it'll help in obviously the coming fights. I can only get better from now.
You've had in the three UFC fights you've been in front of some big crowds, and then you had this fight in the Apex. To have such a big moment, but have it be in the Apex where it's not a bigger crowd, was that kind of like bittersweet? How was that for you?
Honestly, I didn't even notice. I thought beforehand I would notice, and it would be demotivating a little bit. But as soon as the fight started, you forget about everything else that's going on. I'm only thinking about one person, which was Matt Schnell, and it was cool for me being able to hear the corner, like the not my corner, the opposing corner, because they would call things like, "Oh, go over his jab" or "calf kick," and so I'm like, "Oh, okay, I need to make sure I look out for this." So there was a point in the fight where they did call out the calf kick, the kicks there. He feinted his hip, and I had the check and the counter ready to go straight away. So I did like that aspect of it.
Is that weird to be able to hear like your opponent and like they say something and then it comes? You're like, oh my God, it's happening.
It's I wouldn't say it's weird. It's, I guess, weird for an event of that magnitude. But I mean, I've been growing up competing as often as possible. So I thought I've done jiu-jitsu competitions, wrestling competitions, that I can hear the coaches yelling things the whole time. So I mean, yeah, it wasn't anything overly out of the realm of normality.
How nice is it to get another performance bonus for your very good work? How nice is that?
Yes, it's very cool. I'm not buying anything overly luxurious at the moment. I'm just working towards paying off the house, and um, at some stage soon, I'll be paying for a wedding. So that all will be very nice.
Oh, congratulations. I didn't know the wedding was coming up.
Yeah, we haven't like scheduled anything, like we haven't locked down anything yet, but it is definitely coming in the next year. So um, yeah, I want to make sure that she has a very nice day. So I want to do everything I can to make sure it is as good as possible.
Excellent. How long have you been engaged?
We got engaged on New Year's Eve. I try to make it so it was a day I wouldn't forget, so I
It's
can't get in trouble.
it's a smart move.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that. That is very exciting to hear.
yeah, thank you.
And I know the last time we spoke and we talked about the performance bonus, it also went on the house.
Yes.
Bit of a responsible man with your money over here.
At the moment, as soon as this paid off, I could go absolutely crazy. I can buy a Lamborghini or something, do some stupid things. Maybe buy something Sugar O'Malley would buy, but not at the moment.
Is that the would that be the purchase, the Lambo? Are you a car guy?
I like to think if I was gonna buy a car, I'd definitely get a Lambo, but I don't think I'm that kind of guy. I think I'd more modest and that sort of thing. I'll do something more responsible.
What do you think it would be? Toyota Corolla.
That is a solid car. Very solid car. Maybe a Hilux. Who knows? The Mitsubishi
Oh,
Triton. I don't know. We'll see.
oh, you can't frighten a Triton. Not a sponsor. I wish, but no.
Yeah. No.
Talking about being unfrightenable. Beautiful segue. Uh, you're a man who has spoken to me, and I've seen you talk about it before, about something that drives you is kind of being the toughest guy in the room.
Yes.
Where does that kind of drive to be the toughest guy come from?
I really don't know. Ever since I was a young kid, I'd watch movies like Hercules and that sort of thing, and I would aspire to be like that. I wanted to be the world's strongest man when I was 7 years old, and then unfortunately, I grew up into a 5'8", 57-kilogram adult male, and that sort of went out the window. So I had to find another way to be the toughest guy in the room. But yeah, there's something. I don't know if it's my upbringing. Like, it wasn't a hard upbringing, but my dad's very masculine. My granddad, my family's very uh, alpha male-ish, I guess. I don't know. So I just wanted to live up to that. Maybe, I don't know.
You're talking, about running yourself down a little bit there. And you said earlier about the internet, thinks you look like a guy who fixes
Yes.
computers. Is there something that you kind of like about that? About maybe people looking at you and not being assuming, and then you being this killer?
I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. Sometimes I guess it's nice, but other times like, no, I want people to know that I look tough. I know, come on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. People can think whatever they like. I'll just deal with it.
And I asked you, I believe it was after your UFC debut, I asked you a question about kind of if you had felt at all like a leader in the gym to some of your teammates. And you talked about, like, not really, your coaches are the leaders. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, as you climb the ranks and as the world recognizes you as the talent that you are, has that changed at all?
I don't necessarily know if it's because I'm climbing the ranks or I'm becoming more mature as an adult in general, but there's been a few times recently where I've noticed that I have some influence over the people in the gym, and I like to be, I guess, a larrikin and take the piss a lot, and so sometimes I'll pull the piss too much, perhaps, and then people go, "Oh, well, Steve's doing that. I should do that," or I influence people in a wrong direction. And I'm like, "Oh, maybe I should be more responsible in how I talk to some people and lead them on a better path." But yeah, I think that's comes with maturity, less so than being a really good fighter at the moment.
How is that for you? How are you handling that? How do you feel being in that role?
I don't like it. I prefer nobody listen to me and just let me be an idiot. But yeah, it's comes with life. Like, eventually, everybody, like, if you have kids and all that sort of stuff, you have to mature and do things in a responsible way at some point. If you want to have a positive impact on people.
Fantastic thing for a gentleman who is an instructor at your gym.
Yes.
No
Yeah.
one listened to me.
Again, I think I'm more of a detriment to the teaching of those classes than a help. Yeah, the instructor's trying to keep me in check half the time, just as much as keeping the kids in check.
Now, you have made your call for Mr. Brennan Moreno, and you after at the post fight press conference you said the Sphere would be cool, Noche UFC would be cool. There is that rumored for Perth. Is there a date that you have in mind for when you'd like to be back in there?
No, either Perth, which would be awesome to have Moreno come over and then have such a big event where I'm the hometown favorite. That'd be awesome, amazing. The last Perth card was out of this world. And then, yeah, obviously to have UFC Noche, which is at the, probably butchering the pronunciation, but to have it at the Sphere and then have him be the hometown favorite and I'm coming into enemy territory, that'd be a pretty cool thing too. So I don't mind. Just want to fight people, I guess.
Violent man.
Yeah, that's it.
Got to prove that you're the toughest guy.
Exactly. Somebody
Um,
has to be.
Yeah, exactly. It might as well be you.
That's it.
Um, as I keep saying, you're now ranked in the top 10. You are a hometown guy if the UFC's coming to Perth. As a UFC fighter, as a guy that they're looking at and have a lot of respect in, how much do they tell you about stuff like that? Like, do they let you know, hey, we're coming to your hometown, or are you like, no clue?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I get told things that my managers get told. I don't talk to them directly at all. So,
Mm,
I imagine as soon as they get told, I'll know. So I don't know anything at the moment.
that's fair. That wasn't me digging. That was just
Yeah,
more
no, yeah,
legitimate question, I
yeah.
promise.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Uh, 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 I don't know if it's fair to say it was a big motivator for this fight, but something you talked about heading into fighting Matt Schnell was the fight for the song. Uh,
Yes.
how does it feel to be the man who now owns that song?
So after Snell pulled out, I had claimed that by default I was the winner of the song anyway, and that we're just fighting for his spot now. So I'd already claimed it, and yeah, I walked out to the song and he didn't. So that's all we have to know.
You took it. Now it's yours.
It is. We'll get some copyright now. See
You
if we can get some
should.
royalties.
We should get a. You should do a cover.
Nobody needs to hear me sing.
um, funny. That's another segue that I'll bring up in a moment.
Okay.
But before that, I wanted to ask, to finally be in there with a guy that you were meant to fight kind of so many times. How was that when you're actually standing across from the guy and you're like, I have been prepping for you for a while?
Yeah, it was more so seeing him at the weigh-ins because this is the first time I hadn't seen my opponent all fight week. Like David Dvorak, I saw him in the spa. We like shared the spa together while we were trying to get ready to lose weight, all that sort of stuff. Costa, I saw in the hotel, I don't know, at least a dozen times before. Weigh-ins and all that sort of thing. So Schnell was the first person I hadn't seen at all, which obviously made me nervous because he pulled out of the Dvorak fight. He pulled out of my fight last time, and he rocked up late for the weight. Like he rocked up after the start of the weigh-in. So I was like, if he doesn't show up,
Oh my
something
God.
happened. He pulls out now. I'd be so upset. So yeah, it was. I was happy to see him. That made the fight feel very real very quickly. He was a very nice guy. Pleasure to meet. Yeah.
Pleasure to meet, pleasure to beat.
Yeah, honestly felt a little bit bad. He was again, he was a very nice person. And I much prefer fight people that I have no respect for. So
How was sharing the spa with Dvorak? Was that awkward? What was that
it was
like?
it was very awkward. So we went to go just get like heat acclimated, that sort of thing, and we rocked up and he was just sitting in the spa by himself. And my coach was like, "Oh, do you want to leave and come back?" And I just thought, I'm not letting him dictate what I'm doing. So I just politely went up to him and said, "Look, is it okay if we jump into the spa?" He goes, "Yeah, no worries." So we just sat there in complete silence. Yeah, got our spa on.
Not talking about the weather, no small talk.
There was no small talk.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, that's it.
Now I referenced earlier about no, you said no one needs to hear you sing. Makes me think of HBK sung his own theme.
Who's HBK? Sorry.
Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Shawn Michaels. Sorry, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm up
Classic.
to date. Yes.
So we've talked before about a love of wrestling when you were younger brought you to mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
You leave Perth just as the WWE get to Perth.
Yeah.
I know you maybe don't watch it all the time, but was that at all a little bit like, damn it, the one time they come here, I have to leave?
I have definitely grown out of the WWE.
That's
I
fair.
had no interest in going. The only exception would be if Stone Cold Steve Austin rocked up. Then I'd have to make an appearance. But other than that, not super interested.
That's fair. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
he didn't show up, so I'm
No.
glad you didn't have any heartbreak with that.
No. Yeah.
But you did get to see some cool things while you were over in Vegas. The NRL was in Vegas. What was that like? Are you an NRL fan? Like, how was that?
No, I'm not an NRL fan. I'm an AFL fan. I think NRL is more the eastern states, like Sydney, that sort of thing. But it was cool to meet like other athletes who are so big in Australia. And then to be somehow put in media with them and stuff, I felt very out of place. They're all these like hulking masculine man, and I'm this like little dweeb sitting in the corner. It was cool, very cool.
You were the toughest guy there though.
Look, Tyson Pedro was there too, so we're not gonna get ahead of ourselves. I like to think I'm tough, but maybe not that tough.
Number two ain't bad.
Number two's all right.
Number two is not bad at all.
Yeah.
And now Mr. Jack Della Maddalena is fighting this weekend. He is also a Perth boy. I was wondering if you had ever had a chance to interact with him or train with him, and what are your thoughts on his fight?
Yeah, so no, I do. I go to Scrappy a couple times a week. So I've trained with Jack, talked to Jack. Obviously he's out of my weight class, so I don't necessarily do a lot of stuff with him, but every now and then I'll do some wrestling with him or some light sparring with him. But I just think he's really good. He hits very hard. His stand up, even though people talk about his stand up, it is way better than it looked. Like it's amazing. He's very, very good. So I think he'll knock Gilbert Burns out. And if Perth in August is true, like you're saying, having me and him on the same card would be dream come true.
Mr. Erceg, I thank you for your time. I hope you get that chance to showcase your skills in a big stage in your home city. I know we talked about it earlier and you mentioned it, but when's the wedding kind of booked, penciled in? Like, when is it?
Yeah, I wanted November, but it's looking unlikely now. So some time early next year, I'd guess.
Well, I hope I get a chance to talk to you before then, but it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Steve. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you. Good to be here.